He was the handsomest man in the world.
Who's this?
Paul Newman.
Oh, wasn't he though?
Just throwing that in as an aside. I keep a picture of Paul Newman in my living room.
Oh.
That was signed to me. And he wrote, "To the judge, if only you were the judge on my DUI."
You do a lot of work for charity, Norman, in the sense that you'll go on TV shows for charity. You did, didn't you do a Celebrity Millionaire or something like that? Yeah. And how did you do on that? Did you win money?
Yeah.
You did.
I did. The celebrity, the charities did.
You were not the celebrity?
The charities did.
But you were the celebrity on Millionaire.
Yeah. Do you remember leukemia?
Yeah.
My money that pushed it over doesn't exist anymore.
You got rid of it.
I got rid of it.
No, you went on Millionaire with Regis, right?
Yeah.
And Regis asked you questions.
Yeah.
And then you answered up to, do I have this right? $500,000 worth of questions. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he won $500,000.
Brainiac.
Good for you.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you're pretty smart. 500,000 to get up to. That's pretty good.
Norm's a smart motherfucker.
But I'm not anywhere close to Brainiac.
Well, Brainiac, of course, was invented on Krypton. He's a supercomputer. But
Yeah.
I don't say literally.
I was saying, you're comparing me. That's high praise. Because Brainiac, you could tell even from his head how smart he was.
And he had tubes coming out of his head.
I know, man.
Norm picked Paul Newman's charity because Norm wanted to meet Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So you gave to his salad dressing empire kind
and
of thing?
also, it is a great
The hole
cause.
in the wall.
The hole in the wall game.
How long ago was this? A couple of years ago?
Yeah.
So Paul Newman
26 years ago.
So did Paul Newman call you personally and say to you, "Hey"?
No, he wrote a letter.
Did he?
Yeah.
Look at you, $500,000 contribution.
Yeah, and I could have gone to meet him, but then I was too afraid.
What do you mean you were afraid?
Well, you know, and like it seems like a good idea, but then when it comes down to it, it's just you and Paul Newman.
Yeah, you don't know what
in
to
a
say.
room. Yeah, and then you got no stories. Like, what am I gonna say? Hey, man, one time Will Ferrell was.
Rob Schneider and Football Williams. I'm sure you'd love him.
Do you know him at all? Do you know anyone that I'm talking about? Do you know any entertainers I know?
That was a great story about you and Redford.
Yeah.
Listen, me and Artie Lang.
In other words.
So that was Robert Shaw, huh? Hey, fucking Bud Friedman's backstage with me. This guy's a character.
What you're saying is Paul Newman wrote you a letter and said, "Why don't you come out to my Paul Newman ranch and hang out with me?"
Yeah.
So I can
plus,
get to know
I
you.
kind of got the assumption that it would not be just me and Paul Newman. I suddenly had a fucking vision that it might be me, Paul Newman, and very sick children.
Oh, God.
So then it didn't become as appealing.
Well, you know what? Gary actually went to Paul Newman's house. Papa Booey went to Paul
He did?
Newman's. Yes. He was there for some charity event.
Oh, not to harass him.
It was a political thing.
A political thing. And Gary was in the barn. Paul Newman has a barn on his property.
Yeah.
And if he wants to meet with you, he meets with you in the barn where he has all his memorabilia from his, well, now he's dead, but he had all his memorabilia in the barn.
Gary, go to the barn.
You walk around and it's almost like a Paul Newman museum. You see pictures, you see trophies, you see Academy Award, whatever. And then Paul Newman appears at the barn, and he speaks with you, and then he leaves. And that would have been it. I'm sure he wouldn't have.
Oh, that would have been it. Oh, that's his shtick he does. It's his meet and greet. It's like Artie backstage at an Indian casino. I was going to be Martin Short's friend for a while. We were in negotiations.
Yeah, how'd that break down?
I don't know. I met him. He was fucking funny, and he made me laugh, and he was laughing at me and shit. So I said, "Hey, we should be friends and stuff." And he said, "Yeah, well, let's be friends." You go to a cottage, and I was like, "Ah, fuck! I'd have to go to a cottage, you know." And then so it never caught on because the cottage was in my head and shit.
What do you mean?
Still, I would have liked, that guy would be cool to fucking hang out with.
What do you mean? That would be a good friend
for you. But then
for
going to a cottage, you understand?
I don't want to go to a cottage.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem.
All of a sudden, you're going on a cottage on a plane.
But that's the problem.
Maybe I shouldn't have done this.
No, that's the problem with
that?
you. So if someone suggests something right away, it's not
too guarded. I know what you're saying.
It's not cool enough for you. Where would
you
go
cool
with Martin Short?
I think
Martin Short says, "Let's go to a cottage
and
hang out."
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like I think you're right when I said I'm too guarded. Like I'm not willing to do things.
You don't want to be trapped in a cottage with Martin Short.
I'd love that part.
The idea of being friends with Martin Short is fun. The idea of being in a cottage with Martin Short and then having the pressure to talk and to interact with one another. I understand. I'm the same way. It wouldn't work out for you, and it wouldn't work out for me either.
But you go on that vacation.
But maybe in another lifetime.
Yeah.
Cool Hand Luke. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. And The Hustler is obviously Paul Newman is my favorite actor. So I almost forgot.
Yeah.
Paul Newman. Yeah, Paul Newman is my favorite actor.
Yeah.
He's the coolest guy to me. He had the coolest life.
Right.
Like when he was 50, he didn't drive race cars till he was 50, and then he became like a top-rated amateur.
He won races. Yeah.
Incredible.
And he left Hollywood.
Incredible. And he left Hollywood.
He's just like I'm done.
He was even though he was super handsome, he just had his wife, Joanne Woodward.
Yeah.
And he was by all accounts monogamous and lived a private life. And then he did all this amazing Newman's Own, all this amazing charity work for sick kids. And so he has a life that...
Butch Cassidy's up there.
Yeah,
it's
Butch Cassidy.
The
Verdict. Like, you think of all the movies he's done that are classics.
Right.
Butch Cassidy I loved. Who are those guys? Where he kept saying that.
Yeah.
Where
they're up in the mountains. Who are these guys?
Beginning to get on my nerves. Who are those guys?
Yeah, that had a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah, it did, yeah. He's a funny. Even when he got older, there was a movie called Nobody's Fool where he played like a kind of an old guy that was like he could get girls, and he drank. He wasn't a good father, he was like one of those guys that everybody knows, in real life. Everybody knows a guy that's like 55 and still goes to bars and and drinks and gets laid and doesn't grow up.
Yeah.
And so that was also a great movie. He's just had and I like that he and The Sting. I mean, there's so many movies.
Sting. And talk about a guy who picks good projects.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 60% of having a career like that.
Yeah.
Good to see you, my friend.
You too, Pally. How the fuck do you get $4 million? Where's that go? How the fuck do you get that?
You got to blow a lot of dudes. No, here's how you get it. You sell a whole bunch of your other cars that you bought over the course of the last decade.
Right.
So that you can raise the money for the one car. So it's like sell 5 or 6 cars to raise some of the money for the one car.
So is this like, you love this car?
I did a documentary about Paul Newman racing, and this is the car he drove at Le Mans. So, which is a big deal.
Did you meet Paul Newman?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, sad, right?
He invited me to, because I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
And that was my charity, right? And so I won $500,000.
Hole in the Wall Gang?
Hole in the Wall Gang.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell them. So they just got a check for
$500,000.
$500,000.
Should have got $1 million.
So then, yeah.
I want to get into that.
So then, they keep sending me they want more money. Like they think
it's like an alumni association.
They think I'm a guy with $500,000 every fucking year. So, I'm like, no, I don't have $500,000.
Yeah, this Norm Macdonald, he must be some sort of shipping magnate or something.
Exactly.
I've never heard of him, but he evidently has very deep pockets and loves homeless children, so we should just keep hitting him up for money.
That's exactly it. He was going to meet me. So he's my hero, kind of. I love that.
Newman's your hero?
Well, I love all his movies, and I love how he's conducted his life.
Oh, boy, do I have a documentary for you.
Really?
Yeah.
The one you made?
Yeah, it's all about his racing life.
Oh, that's awesome, because, I love that. I don't know how old he was, but he was 40 or something. He was, when he started racing.
Yeah, late 40s.
Became one of the best
4-time
amateur
national
drivers.
champion.
Amazing.
I got 2 of his championship cars 100 feet from here.
And he's by all evidence, he was monogamous with Joanne Woodward. He wasn't a player when he was the most handsome guy ever. You know what I mean?
You know what's weird? I just thought about, Norm. I think you might appreciate this conceptually. We appreciate 2 dudes. We appreciate the guy who's been faithful to his wife for 47 years and never looked the other way with all the trappings of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And we then thus also worship at the altar of the guy who fucked everything that wasn't nailed down. Like, boy, that guy was serious cocksman. I mean, boy, he fucked everyone. We don't, but when someone goes, he fucked like 8 chicks over the course of 40 years, we go, I don't know about him.
Well, you know, it's like if a guy,
it's feast or famine in the fucking department.
It's like if a
one
guy,
chick or 180.
If a guy gets divorced twice, he's kind of a loser. But if he gets divorced 9 times, he's a character.
Oh,
you know?
ladies' man. Yeah, hide the daughters when he comes into town.
This is what I heard Larry King say to a guy once. The guy had lost his child. Oh, no. And Larry King goes, Paul Newman told me, you never get over it. It's like some unfeeling psychotic.